That's what I'm thinking.
So we can do it. Just follow this thing, and then we can go with it and build the floor. Okay, right here we gotta, because otherwise I have to dig it a lot. Right here I have to it's okay if I raise it up 1 foot down.
Oh yeah, I don't care. No, do what you gotta do.
Yeah, because right here, man, it's
really, yeah. Don't raise it up. Do what you gotta do. You the professional.
I mean, yeah, because if you follow this line, man, look.
Oh yeah.
Way back down there.
So you're gonna do it here, not there? That's what you mean?
Oh no. Oh yeah, right here. Oh no, you have to go all the way.
Right.
Raise it up one.
But you're just gonna put a step up.
One step.
Yeah. If you had to put. Now you see all the money I wasted on all those foreign cars, right? Still riding foreign right now. 2023 Alfa Romeo, look it up. You know what I mean? Made in Italy. That's just me. But I wish all that money I wasted on all those cars, 4 different Benzes, a Lex and a Jag. I had a few at the same time. If I had guidance and I was smarter, I could have invested in one box truck. One box truck. I got a box truck, but I done messed it up. One box truck back then, right? I'm talking about in my prime, when 20s of thousands went through these hands. I could have brought one box truck, then another box truck, then another box truck, but I was too busy flossing for the hood. But now I know better, but I'm not in those endeavors, so I gotta get it out the mud, man. I gotta, get it the legit way. Can't take no shortcuts at my age. But that's just for the peanut gallery. I ran through them. I keep receipts. That's why I don't tongue wrestle, man. But let's get to the story, because nobody cares. Top of the morning, man. Top of the morning. You know who it is. Who it should be. AKA J-Caz. Better known now as who? Trucker J. I realize in life, thus far, people don't care. People don't care. Especially if they don't know you. And even the ones that do know you, and that's blood relatives, they don't care. See, I learned that if something doesn't happen similar to them that they can relate to, they don't care. See, social media put a lot of this stuff on the forefront. When I was coming up in the 80s, the 90s, you know what I'm saying? We didn't have social media. We had Yo MTV Raps, we had MTV, Video Music Box, what else? In the Basement with Tigger. Like, you had to go home and sit in front of that TV to catch what's going on. All our rappers that came up in our era, they had to be at this, what they call that? The in-stores and stuff like that. They couldn't send something out on the internet and see if it catches to the masses. They had to be in person. That's the era I come from. I don't come from this new Twitter fingers, and I'm not even gonna say y'all not real, because y'all really let the bullets fly. So I'm glad that I'm out the way. But nobody cares, man. But I share my story, like I always say, because it's therapeutic. There might be one person out here in this world that catches my story or catches my channel and can relate. So let me break it down to the trolls. The first 10 years of my life, I'm in Yonkers, New York. In the 80s, in the 70s and the 80s, because I was born in 75. I know I'm old, but I still got it. I'm still here. Thank you, Lord. Y'all dying in y'all 20s. That part. But anyway, so coming up, rap was just emerging. You know, hip hop, you could break dancing. There was a lot of fights. We had gangs back then. People died back then, but not like now. But that first 10 years, I was coming up. I'm in the projects. The first, I want to say 8 years of my life, I'm in the projects. In the Reagan era, when crack first touched down, when they had red, yellow, blue tops on the ground with residue in it. And we're kids and we don't know what the that is. And on top of that, heroin was still popping. Heroin was still popping. And there was needles. I remember seeing needles on the ground in the hallway. I remember, and we had our own incinerator, so we would just open the incinerator, drop the garbage in, and it burned in our project. There was piss in the hallways to where you had to take your shoes off as you entered. Everybody had like this big mat at their door so they could take their shoes off, man. These are traumas that the first 10 years of my life, because we moved out the projects with my grandmother the last couple of years until my mom died. So like, these are the traumas that I seen. Do you know how it looked when crack first touched down? It was zombie land in the hood, bruh. People was walking around like zombies. And I remember at one point, one of my older cousins and another dude, because I wanted them J's, I wanted them nice Cortez, what else was popping back then? Bally's, all that. Mom Dukes couldn't afford it. So they used the youngsters to run crack. I remember I would have these tops with this beige stuff in it. And it was red, yellow, blue tops and all. It had different colors. And my cousin would be like, yo, bring that to that man right there. He gonna give you the money. And he said, you do this for me for a few hours. It was like I was working a shift. And I'll buy you them sneakers and them clothes you want. And my cousin was good on his word. We go down to Getty Square in Yonkers, and he'll buy me some sneakers and all that. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Because they knew if we got caught, we not going to get no time because we juveniles, we young. Those are traumas, bro. The piss in the hallway is traumas. The roaches, the rats is trauma. You had to fight. You couldn't be soft. You couldn't be a sheep in my project. 50 Cent just did a scene in my project at the park. The project is torn down. The gun scene recently, when they was in the park, and the cousin, she wanted to unalive one of them real bad, and Kanan was like, chill, we gonna figure this out. That was Grant Park. I'm looking, I'm like, I tap wifey, I say, yo, that's Grant Park. I said, 50 is the realest, man. He brought me back to my roots. But the point I'm trying to make is, it was gladiator school on my project, and you had to fight. There wasn't no go grab no gun, man. I don't understand what y'all so scared of. Why y'all always gotta go for a gun nowadays, man, with anything. Even there was some females that blamed another female. Like, females used to always fight. Now they grabbing firearms. Why this generation is so weak? But like I said, nobody cares. So let me add back to my traumas. So I'm dealing with that. I'm bad as hell in school, getting suspended, mommy whipping my ass, all that. Then Thanksgiving came when I was 10 and a half. We had a beautiful family was there. All the family. Some family that we ain't seen in years was there. Maybe because God knew this was going to be the last time my mom was going to be on this earth. The next morning, I hear my grandmother screaming, Diane won't wake up. Now, you know, I was ahead of my time at 10 and a half. I was 2 months before my birthday. This is the night after Thanksgiving, the morning after Thanksgiving. So I go in the room. I'm like, what my grandmother talking about? I'm trying to wake my mother up. And there's no movement on her chest. There's no wind coming out, you know, nothing. And she was ice cold. Do you know what that trauma feels like at 10 and a half? Finding your mom Dukes dead forever? Nah, but nobody cares. But like I said, I share my story because it might help somebody, because look how I turned out now. So then, the family gets together, they planning the funeral, and then they saying, well, where Booby gonna go? Now, it's like I'm being auctioned up like a slave and shit. Where I'm gonna go? I thought I was gonna stay with grandmas. You know what I mean? But that didn't happen. So boom. My pop stepped up to the plate and he was like, well, it's my son, I'll take him. So I'm like, all right, I'm going with Pop Dukes. He moved me 100 miles away to CT, to another project with the woman he was dealing with. Now, she was the best replacement stepmoms. She was the best replacement stepmoms or whatever. Sorry about that. I had this clown over here making noise or whatever. Best replacement stepmoms. And she had 3 kids of her own, but I'm in a whole nother project and I'm from New York. So I had to fight to get my weight up. I wasn't grabbing no gun. And when they seen that I was tall and skinny, but I had hands, they let me join the goon squad. You feel me? So now I get shipped away a week later, away from all 3 sides of my family. My stepside, my father's side, and my mother's side. Another trauma. That's abandonment. You feel me? I felt like my mom abandoned me. You feel me? But before my mom's died, I forgot to add. Her best friend, Pam, her daughter, Trisha, used to molest me for at least 3 years. And I'm talking about graphic molesting. Turned me out. Thank God it was a female. And that happened from the age of 8, 9, and maybe the beginning of 10 before my mom's died. Every time we went over to Miss Pam's house to play cards, Trisha would be like, hey, you want to go to the store? Yeah, let's get some candy. Yeah, I'm like, hell yeah. You know, kids love candy. We end up at the top floor of the projects. She lay her coat down. And I'm not even going to go into the graphic parts about it. But thank God it was a female that molested me. Is all I'm saying. So that's more trauma. Then my mom's died. Then I get shipped 100 miles away and had to fend for myself. I had 2 older cousins that was almost 30. They don't care about an almost 11-year-old. So I had to fight for myself. You heard? With these hands. Wasn't no guns. So then we fast forward. Dad wasn't nurturing. He went to work. When he came home, he tired. On the weekend, he chasing his other women. So I'm off the porch. I'm hanging with those goons in CT. Then, a year later, he breaks up with Gwen, rest her soul. Now I'm back in New York with my grandma. So now I'm happy. I'm back with my family. I'm going to school again, doing, you know what I'm saying? And then maybe a year later, my father gets his own apartment. And he comes and scoops me. My grandmother tells me, oh, a young man needs to be with his father. I didn't understand then, but I understand now. She was right. Her intentions was right. She was like, I'm old. I can't take care of you. So I felt like my grandmother kicked me out. So I didn't speak to my grandmother on purpose for years. Until maybe 2 years before she died, we reconciled and I started speaking to my grandmother. So now I'm back in CT again. But this time, my father, with his good intentions, he wanted to bring, because I had a brother by another lady, like, you know what I'm saying, he got a different moms. He wanted both of his sons under the same roof. He had good intentions, but he wasn't nurturing because he had to work. And like I said, when he got home from work, he was tired. So again, I'm outside. But then it just so happens I sprouted up. Now I'm like 6'3". At 14, I'm playing basketball. I'm pretty good. I'm dunking in 7th grade, 8th grade. I made the team. I'm shining. And I got this evil ass stepmom. When we at home, she evil as hell. But when we at the school, she's screaming, my baby, my baby, my baby. Do you know what that does to a person's psyche? I'm your baby because I'm the star and I'm scoring points and I'm dunking. And everybody's like, oh, whose son is that? And she's screaming, I'm her baby. But when we at home, she barely say 2 fucking words to me. So I dealt with that for about 2 years. And then about 2 to 3 years, and then they finally broke up. So now I'm 16. And me and my pops was living with my uncle and aunt. Because like I said, they broke up, so they got rid of the condo. So she went her way with my brother, and my father went his way. And I moved back to New York again. But peep this trauma. You know, like when you in the hood, right? And you got family members, but you live on the good side of the good side of town. See, my grandmother didn't want to stay in that same apartment that my mom died in, rightfully so. But my aunt was like, my aunt lived in Hell's Kitchen. She lived off of Elm Street in Yonkers. That shit is terrible. So what my aunt was like, well, hey, if you leave, can I get the apartment and take it over? So my grandmother passed the baton to my aunt and she took over the apartment. So now peep game. Remember I told you I moved back to New York after my stepmom and my dad broke up. I think I was 15 at the time. It was after school. It was during summer break. Let me see what y'all can guess what fucking room I had to sleep in. I'll wait. I had to sleep in the same room that my mother died in. Another trauma. So I was scared to sleep because my mom, she was laying straight on her back when she passed. So I never laid on my back for years. Even my wife knows this. When she met me, she should be like, why you never lay on your back? And I didn't tell her right away. I was scared to. I thought I was going to die in my sleep like my mom did. Traumas, bro. Black man traumas. This is real spill. I don't give a fuck what you think about me because I ain't had no mom since I was 10. So who the fuck is going to judge me but God? You understand me? I'm giving you real traumas right here, man. But look how I landed on my feet. It's not how you start. It's how you finish, man. I might be helping somebody because somebody might be wanting to just take their life. Mental health is real. I know I don't have screws loose, but I suppress it. But if you violate those 5 at home, it's off with your kufi. Y'all gonna see a whole different J Cash. But I'm gonna make sure before I get caught, I'm getting everybody before I get caught. I'm gonna make it worth it. That's why they say don't mess with people that mind their business that's real humble out here. Cause I'm with the shits. I'm just trying to share real spill with you to show you that you can make it out. Don't let your past dictate your future. That's why I'm sharing my story. I don't give a fuck what a troll got to say, because the pool is ready. That's my house, me and the wife. We doing good for ourselves for not having nobody to turn on. No grandma, no grandfather. My father been in Florida since 96. He ain't, and my pride is so strong, I ain't never asked a man for shit. I got it out the mud myself, you heard? I got to it. That's why I post my receipts. Yeah, it was a dark time. I was outside for years, but I did right with my bag. I'm just mad that I wasted money on them foreign cars that I ain't got no more instead of buying a box truck way back then when I had my CDL. I'm giving you real spill right here. Now I don't do illegal activities. I never been to prison. I still graduated high school. I did a year at UCF, blew my knee, had two knee surgeries. I know I went fast forward with the story. But I moved out when I was 16, like I stated before. Pops couldn't help me with algebra. I knew this chick that lived in that same project that I moved to when we first moved to New York with that lady and her 3 kids. So I'm in that project again. Michelle, she helped me, man. She helped me pass that algebra so I could stay on the team when the season started. I'm 16 living with a 23-year-old that had a 5-year-old. So now I'm a step pops at 16. More traumas. Then me and her was together for a year. I made the team. I stayed on the team. I'm in the paper. I'm doing my thing. Boom. I cheated. The girl got pregnant. My son was born when I was 17 and a half, going on 18. So now I'm a senior with a son. A junior/senior with a son, man. Life ain't easy. But I feel if I had my mom Dukes guiding me, I probably wouldn't have made none of those mistakes that I made. You heard? That's what I'm trying to tell you. You have to stay strong. You got to stay prayed up, because I always prayed, man. It was a lot of dark times. And I'm the only child. I ain't even have no siblings to share the pain with. I had to go and handle it myself. It wasn't easy, but I made it. So if you're feeling weak, my brothers and sisters, you can make it. Stay prayed up. Fight. Don't give up. Don't unalive yourself. And that's one to grow on, man. But like I said, nobody cares. But at the end of the day, I'm living. 100.
The cleanup is right here. Right here, chlorine.
Operation put in new pool liner.
And I just happen to know where there's 4.9 acres of land.
We discovered a leak in the pool liner, so now we have to put a new one in, you know? And I'm not even gonna say how much this new pool liner costs, but it's a family affair. Our oldest daughter is here. Let's get it. Adding a new pool liner, a family affair.
My biggest fear is going to pump.
Yeah. Don't we have an X-Acto knife though?
I have a brand new sharpener that came in.
Then we should mark it. Is there a marker?
Oh, good idea.
After we zip tie all up.
There might be one in there. Ow. That's a good idea. Nick, you're gonna have to get out soon and go get a sharpener. Now, dude, baby, bring me some this way. I need more on this way.
Operation change the pool liner. Its completion system pumps in, and that's it. It didn't take that long either. we discovered a leak in the old pool liner underneath, so we had to add a new one. And I'm not even gonna say how much this pool liner costs. Just know it's not cheap. It's above 500. Okay? But see, I'd rather have these problems than being in the hood ducking bullets and gunshots and all that type of shit. I'd rather have these homeowner problems. You feel me? To each his own. God bless. Y'all be safe. Because this world's getting crazy, man. You know what I mean? Backyard vibes. Trying to get it together for the new season. You heard? 100. Back in business, baby. Still work to do, but we off to a great start for the spring. You heard? Let's get it. Pumping action.